Ministries, departments and agencies defend 2024 budgetary allocations.
And of course, in 2024, I think it's far, far below what is expected.
House Committee on Narcotics throws weight behind National Drug Law Enforcement Agency.
We don't even know the purpose of NDLA in this country today.
Plus, United Nations advocates inclusion of women in peace, security and conflict management.
The women and girls in our IDP camps, they need the security.
A very warm good evening from the nation's capital city, Abuja. I am Ene Ojonuba. Welcome to Parliamentary News. The Senate has adjourned plenary to 20th December after it reconvened from a one-week break for engagements with ministries, departments and agencies on the 2024 proposed appropriation. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, brought to the notice of lawmakers two communications from President Tinubu seeking confirmation of some appointees.
I am pleased
the
to
request
present
communicated in
for
separate
confirmation
letters
by the Senate
seeks confirmation of appointments of 3 executive commissioners of the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission and 19 commissioners of the National Population Commission. Senate during plenary confirms the appointments of Desmond Akau as member representing Rivers State in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Senate adopted a motion pledging the donation of 1 month's salary of each of the 109 senators to survivors and families of victims of Tudunbiri drone misfire.
were able to visit the governor in order to relay that message. Thereafter, we went to the hospital where those that got injured were treated. The Senate delegation, led by the Deputy Senate President, pledged our December salaries to support the survivors who are still struggling in the hospitals for their lives. Can you say aye? Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. May I invite my colleagues to rise for us to observe 1 minute silence in honor of the departed brothers and sisters who lost their lives to the drone camp.
Plenary has been adjourned 20th December 2023. This is to enable committees conclude budget defense sittings. Budget defense featured the appearance of the Chief of Naval Staff before the Senate Committee on Navy. He solicits for more funding to improve efficiency.
We're able to execute our role in terms of arrest of criminals in the maritime environment. We end up getting appropriate prosecution. Basically, it's one of the roles of the Nigerian Navy which many people are not aware, and this is what makes our demand even higher.
Your capital request was about $200 billion. What you have ended up with is just about $30 billion. So these are challenges clearly.
The Minister of Trade and Investment, while defending the ministry's spending plans for 2024 before the Senate, says a rebranding campaign tagged Make It in Nigeria is underway to sell and attract investment for Nigeria.
As a nation, we have decided that we want to improve our manufacturing sector. We want to invite foreign organizations to build their factories here and to reduce our reliance on imports. But the only way we can do this is by ensuring that our local workforce is also skill ready and ready to adapt to take up this challenge.
We are going to do everything within our powers to cooperate, to collaborate with the ministry and by implication, our government, the federal government, to be sure that Nigerian people are served.
The ministry is proposing 8.1 billion naira for capital expenditure and targets 2.5 billion naira revenue in 2024. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The National Assembly Joint Committee on Education has tasked the Minister of Education and heads of agencies of the ministry to take proactive measures to improve quality of education and address the problem of over 20 million out-of-school children. This was during the Minister of Education, Mamman Tahir's presentation at the 2024 Budget Defense. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
While presenting the budget of the Ministry of 101.45 billion naira allocated for 2024, out of which 5.88 billion naira was for personnel cost, 1.08 billion for overhead costs, and 94.48 billion naira for capital expenditures. Minister Tahir Mamman said the ministry will ensure funds are utilized judiciously and bring back Nigeria's 20 million children back to school in the next 4 years.
At the basic and secondary school levels in Nigeria now, studies upon studies have already established that our graduates at basic and secondary schools cannot read, write, and comprehend those things. So it's a major learning crisis.
In their separate remarks, co-chair and other members resolved to conclude work on the 2024 budget proposal within the reasonable time to enable the budget be in use from January 2024. A total of 270 vice-chancellors of federal universities also appeared before the committee for their budget defense.
We'll work with you, we'll cooperate with you to make sure that all the universities that are illegally operating, we'll make sure that they are not operating in Nigeria.
A situation where universities will seek permission from the office of the head of service to recruit a staff. What does head of service go to do with the recruitment of intellectuals?
We need to deliberately support the system so that they can have the full complement of staffing at both academic and non-academic levels. There are also reported threats to university security, peace, and safety. ABU Zaria, Sokoto, Dusemma, Dutse, this, and Uyo, and Calabar, and many other universities have come under several threats. We crave your kind indulgence to factor in this cross-cutting challenge.
All of us here today will go home to our universities very happy to see our lawmakers highly committed to solving Nigerian universities' problems. I am highly elated, and I believe I represent all my colleagues here by saying that.
The committee thereafter promised to give a hand of support to the Nigerian universities to be fully funded for optimum results. From the National Assembly, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Funding of the Nigerian Television Authority should be a national priority without which it cannot operate optimally as the leading public broadcaster in a competitive environment. This is coming from the Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation as it scrutinizes the 2024 budget of the NTA. Ignatius Nkwo reports.
The 2024 budget scrutiny continued at the Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation. The Director General of NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, accompanied by other management staff, was clear on the 2024 financial proposal of 15.1 billion naira.
With the allocations we have had, especially in the preceding year and of course in 2024, I think it's far, far below what is expected. Because of the changes in technology, vis-a-vis the new demands from the general public, and the issues of security and all what have you.
Comparison between NTA and other media stations will always come up, but the Director General took time to explain to the committee the mandate and peculiarity of NTA as a government-owned media outfit.
So the cost of operation vis-a-vis number of staff and requirements differ from the private media organizations that we tend to make comparison. We also have the mandate to serve the public. And I can, without any this report, tell the honorable distinguished members of this committee that it is very difficult sometimes to even convince those in government as to why they should pay for services being rendered by the Nigerian Civil Authority. Or they will tell you that all belongs to the federal government.
The need for more funding for NTA was evident before the committee. Committee members advised the management to insist on payment for services rendered.
Of whatever program you're handling, whether government or private, when you say this is our fee, you go there and deliver. If they pay, you move. If they don't pay, you stay back.
You must be able to tell government, if you don't give me money, this is the level of service you will get. Otherwise, they will not take us serious.
What are you looking at? What do you want? The tomorrow of NTA, how do you want it to be like? Come with a proposal, we are ready to back you.
As part of measures to increase its internally generated revenue, the Parliamentary Committee urged government to mandate ministries, departments, and agencies of government to place all commercials on NTA before considering other media organizations. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The House of Representatives Committee on Solid Minerals has described the 29 billion naira allocated to the sector for the next fiscal year as grossly inadequate. This was when Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, appeared before the Committee for Budget Defense. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikpen has details.
The solid minerals sector is considered crucial to Nigeria's quest for economic diversification and industrialization, but lawmakers regard the 29 billion naira proposed for the sector in 2024 as paltry and inadequate to drive growth in the sector.
Let me use this medium to call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to rethink and reconsider the paltry sums that were allocated to this sector. We must be careful not to kill the goose that lays the golden eggs. We are in a phase of energy transition, and solid minerals is the next frontier.
Reeling out the potentials of the ministry's 7-point agenda for the solid minerals sector, the minister affirms that 250 billion naira is needed for exploration of minerals.
We need to have a formal structure that the multinationals can deal with. Now, these illegal miners are not your artisanal miners. These are heavy, powerful individuals in our country, and they are Nigerians.
At an interface with the House Committee on Population, the National Population Commission is seeking more funding for the conduct of the next national census.
We have to update the enumeration area maps. By the time we finish the enumeration area mapping, the building stock that we reported as 65 million may increase to something a lot higher, because Nigeria is a country where construction is going on daily, on a daily basis.
The commission says the president has the prerogative to announce the date for the next national census. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikpen, NTA News.
The Ogun State House of Assembly has advocated increased budgetary allocation to the agricultural sector to revamp the economy of the state and create job opportunities for the teeming youths. The lawmakers also sought expansion of monetary jurisdiction of magistrate courts from 5 to 10 million naira. Parliamentary correspondent Yemi Dalemo reports on these and other activities of the House at plenary.
Leading the debate on the 2024 Appropriation Bill, Chairman House Committee on Finance and Appropriation, Honorable Musefiu Lamidi, urged the House to expedite action on the passage of the bill. Other lawmakers, in their contributions, called for effective implementation and equitable utilization of allocated funds, such as that of the infrastructure to cover the 3 senatorial districts of the state. Majority Leader Lukman Adeleye Shoneye Damilola of Obafemi Owode State Constituency, Adebisi Oyedele representing Ipokia Idiroku State Constituency, Adeyanju Adegoke of Yewa North 1 and others advocate improved funding to the agricultural sector to ensure food security and control inflation in the state.
Because the money the percentage allocated to agriculture, I want to believe that the allocation is too bigger, because the only area now that we have comparative advantage is in the area of agriculture.
The agriculture will be given for 2%. I would like us to that side, because this issue was statewide 15%. We are very simple. Our welfare is start from food.
The amount allocated to agriculture should be increased, because all of us are from rural area, except maybe one local government. So we should find a formula to increase on our own what goes to agriculture for food security and bringing out of inflation.
During the second reading of the Ogun State Magistrates Court Amendment Bill, Chairman House Committee on Justice and Petitions, Honorable Oluseun Adesanya, notes that the bill, when passed into law, will among others reduce the burden of the State High Court of Justice, ensure quick dispensation of justice, and increase the monetary capacity of magistrate courts from 5 to 10 million naira.
If we are able to increase the monetary jurisdiction of the magistrate court, all this burden that have been put in on high court will be reduced. And by that, the magistrate court will have much power to exercise their monetary authority.
The lawmakers also passed a resolution mandating the state government to put machinery in motion to stem the subtle takeover of Adre and Kampala local industries by foreigners. This follows a motion on the urgent need to stem the subtle takeover of the local fabric business by foreigners, moved by Honorable Babatunde Taylor, representing Abeokuta North State Constituency. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
We bring you updates from the Rivers State House of Assembly after the break. Please don't go away. You are watching NTA Parliament News. Thank you for staying with us. The Rivers State House of Assembly complex is reported to have been demolished. A statement by the Rivers State Commissioner for Information says the decision follows structural defects resulting from recent fire incidents at the complex. It went further that the state governor had visited the complex and requested experts' opinion on the integrity of the building. Following its assessments, the statement says experts warned against the use of the building for legislative business, hence the order for its demolition. On the interim, the state government says it will provide lawmakers a conducive accommodation to conduct their legislative business. Earlier, a High Court sitting in Port Harcourt presided over by Justice M.W. Danagogo had confirmed Edison Ehie as the authentic Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. The court further restrained the factional speaker, Martin Amahule, and Domle Mao from parading themselves in the capacity or interfere with activities of Edison Ehie as Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. The House of Representatives Committee on Drugs and Narcotics is assuring the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, of its readiness to provide better legislation that will support the agency to actualize its mission of sanitizing the country of illicit drugs. This came to the force during an interface between the leadership of the agency and committee members. National Assembly correspondent Joshua Ogunjide has more.
The delegation is visiting the 10th Green Chambers Committee on Drugs and Narcotics to give summary of its activities in the past 35 months. Having gone through the job done so far, the committee raised concerns as the 2021 World Drug Report predicted 40% increase in the prevalent use of drugs, especially opioids and synthetic drugs by 2030.
We have 774 local governments that we need to extend. A lot of people don't even know the purpose of NDLA in this country today. You'll be surprised.
We need more people to work. Why is it that the junior cadre are less than the senior cadre? Secondly, there is these pictures going about in the social media, and I saw it. Some of your recruits are underage.
You have a plan to employ in 2024. What is the criteria of this? Because Nigerians have been bombarding us, mostly, especially the youths.
In spite of bottlenecks, the NTA said its core mandate is to enforce law and prosecutorial power in reducing drug demand in Nigeria.
We are largely relying on this honorable committee to drive the process of the recruitment process, which we hope it should be much sooner than later.
The structure of the WADA starts with the Interministerial Committee, which is at the national level. There we have about 35 MDAs that their activities are related to drugs.
We look forward to your assistance in taking care of some notes that can only be solved by this legislative committee. Our goal remains to be the best drug law enforcement agency in Africa and one of the best in the world.
The committee chairman announced plan to hold a retreat for stakeholders, after which oversight will begin by members. From the National Assembly, Joshua Okochti, NTA News.
Funds appropriated must judiciously be utilized to improve the lives of women and Nigerian children. This was the charge during an oversight visit by the Committee on Women Affairs to the Ministry and Mariam Babangida National Center for Women Development. Amina Seidu reports.
Chairman of the committee, Kafila Dogbara, alongside other members, interrogated the 2020 to 2023 budget with the hope of ensuring checks and balances in resources management.
And this is why Nigerian women have been left behind, because all your projects and all your programs have not been impactful on Nigerian women at all.
Based on all this, I said no payment yet until we confirm. And again, the monies we were expected have not even come. So that is the status. So most of these things is good now that you people equally came, because this has been a major discussion here.
A visit to the Mariam Babangida Women Development Center followed the same pattern, as the need to complete some projects was brought to the fore.
So we hope that we'll be able to support them in our next budget phase, to be able to see how we can renovate the place and make it better for our people that come in from all over the country for their trainings. I found out that nothing like a cancer center exists in the National Center for Women Development. We're able to go around all the rooms, and we just saw storage of different things that were not even for the National Center for Women Development. So we are really disappointed about that, but we are still going into our meetings, and by the time we interrogate and ask questions, we'll be able to get more of the facts that we need to report to the leadership of the House.
So if we have any problem with budget or anything that we need from the government, they are the ones that will intervene on our behalf. So they came in to see what we have, and so that we sit down and look at how we can move the center forward.
A facility tour was conducted in the Ministry and the Women's Center, while a budget defense is slated for Thursday this week. Amina Saidu, NTA News.
Key players in the security sector are advocating more legislations that would engage women inclusion in peace, security, and conflict management. This is part of submissions at the opening of a two-day public dialogue on enhancing gender-responsive security operations, the role of legislators in women, peace, and security in Nigeria. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
The inequality and exclusion of women from peace-building and conflict resolution processes believed to be undermining efforts at conflict prevention. To address this imbalance, hands must be on deck, and this is the reason for this engagement organized by NILS and UN Women.
Leadership of the 10th Assembly from the Senate and House of Representatives are committed towards ensuring that the gender laws that failed in the 9th Assembly are refined, represented in the National Assembly, supported, and eventually passed, and sent to the President for accent.
The women and girls in our IDP camps, they need the security. And when we are doing gender mainstreaming, we like to carry everybody along.
Other stakeholders agree that the way to sustainable peace and development is equal opportunity to all.
We cannot talk about national development without understanding how social norms and power structures impact on genders. Our focus, therefore, must be towards mitigating such factors that challenge the peculiarities of every individual in living a good life and attaining the desired goals.
At the end of the two-day dialogue, it is expected that comprehensive resolution will be made available from the engagement to change the narratives for the better. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
That concludes the news at this time. Do follow the telecast of the news and other programs on the platforms on the screen. On behalf of the production crew, I am Ene Ojonugba. Thank you for watching.